Yo, what's up everyone? I'm back to cover this Monday slate. First things first, you guys crushed it with the likes on yesterday's video, so I do appreciate that. And the picks did pretty good, came out with a win. Using the picks, went with a couple of low-owned twins like Eddie Rosario, who had a home run and put up 24. Sano was also low-owned and put up 17. And then the pitchers did fine, although Nola would have easily had, he got 8 DraftKings points taken away because he got pulled with 2 outs in the 7th. With his team winning by 2, and then the bullpen came out and blew his win and added on 2 earned runs onto his line. So that was kind of annoying, but still made out, so I'm not too upset about it. So let's get into today's picks. If you could drop a like and subscribe, I would appreciate that. And you can hit the website down in the description if you want to get on board for baseball. Also have football coming up, both at cheap prices, so consider that if you want to. Today we have a 9-game slate. Let's jump right into it. By far the best pitcher is Chris Sale, and the fact that he's not separated by more than $1,000 by the next closest guy. You have Ryu, and then you have Chris Sale against all these lefties from the Rangers. I feel like Chris Sale is an absolutely lock play in cash games. I'd much rather play him than Ryu, than Morton. So Chris Sale at 10-9. Price tag is still fair. Last season, we were paying $12,000, $13,000 for Chris Sale. He's coming off his best start of the season, where he went the complete game shutout, had 12 strikeouts, only threw 102 pitches in the 9 innings. He was just masterful. It's another great matchup here against this Rangers team. The Rangers are really bad against lefties. They strike out a ton, and I feel like Chris Sale is going to be able to mow down this lineup. So I have a ton of interest in Sale at 10-9. And I'm going to pair him with Jared Eichhoff at 7,100. So the reason I like Eichhoff is the Diamondbacks have a pretty low total. It's 4.5. Diamondbacks are also projected to have 5 righties in the lineup. They only have 2 real lefties in there with Jared Dyson, who doesn't have that much power, and they have David Peralta, who's very good. So Peralta's the only guy that really scares me. So they have 2 lefties, and they have 2 switch hitters, and Ketel Marte and Escobar. Marte is much better against lefties. And so Escobar and David Peralta are my 2 worries. But other than that, you should get all righties, 5 righties projected. He's been really good against righties. He's held them to just a 222 average, a 393 slugging percentage. And he's also been a little better at home this season, and the Phillies are favored. So at a 7,100 price tag, I have confidence that he can get you at least double digits and flirt with in the 20s. Maybe he even has 30-point upside too. So I kind of like Eichhoff here at 7,100. Leaves you with exactly $4,000 to spend on your bats, which is kind of what I like. So yesterday, I was all over the Twin stack. Today, I'm going to be all over this Rays stack. The Rays are by far my favorite team to stack today. They are facing, I don't know why they have all these pitchers in here, DraftKings. But we'll see. They're facing Tanner Anderson, who had a 6.26 ERA, a 1.7 whip. I'm not sure what it is with all these MLB teams promoting guys that have a 6 or 5+ ERA. He does not look ready at all for the major leagues. But he's getting promoted to take on this very dangerous Rays lineup. So I feel like he's going to get crushed. And the Rays prices are also very favorable. I was expecting them to be 5,000 plus, but you're getting good prices on mainly all these guys. Choi is only 4,000, Diaz is under 4,000, Lau is just 44, Adames is just 3,500, Pham is just 4,300, Kiermaier is 4,000, and then Meadows and Garcia. Meadows is expensive, but he should be, considering how he's been hitting the baseball this year, and Garcia is only 46. So I have a lot of interest in the Rays. Favorite team to stack on this slate. So we're going to start it off at first base with one of the hotter hitters on the Rays, and that's Ji-Man Choi at just $4,000. So facing a righty is when you only want to play Choi. He's been really hot as of late. Lots of multi-hit games for him recently. He's only $4,000, and he has a lot of power. Doesn't have a ton of power, but he has a high ISO to righties, and I feel like this guy's going to get blown up. Anderson's going to get blown up in his first start, and Choi at 4,000 has been hitting the ball really well as of late, so I feel like he can get the job done. So he's hitting .295 against righties this season, all 6 of his home runs. He's also been great at home. He's hitting like 25. He's hitting 35 points higher at home this season, 298 average. He has a 199 ISO against right-handed pitching. Really solid numbers for him, and career-wise, he is hitting like 259 against righties, and he has a career 225 ISO. So I kind of do like Ji-Man Choi here. He's really cheap, and he hits right in the heart of the lineup, and I love the Rays today, so I'm going to be going with him. Next up at shortstop, I like Corey Seager. I have a little interest in the Dodgers as well, and Corey Seager's been absolutely tearing the cover off the baseball. Like, he was one of the best shortstop, at least a top 3 shortstop in the MLB before he got hurt last season and missed the whole year. And he's finally starting to get back to that. Like, he's still very young. He's still not super young, but he's still in the prime of his career. And lately, his timing everything is figured out. He has incredible numbers against right-handed pitching. He's also at a really good price tag at just $4,200. So if we look at his numbers, this season he's hitting 295 against righties, 7 bombs against righties. Really good stuff there. He's also much better on the road, 304 average on the road. He has just a 15% K rate to righties this season, extremely low. Has a 260 ISO, a 555 slugging percentage. Absolutely love the numbers here for Corey Seager. He's been really tearing the cover off the ball, like I just said. And as you can see, he started off the season March and April only hitting 236. And so far in 7 games in June, he's batting .414 with a home run and 6 doubles. So he's really hitting the ball hard. I have a lot of interest in him at a $4,200 price tag against Griffin Canning, who's been pretty good. But I think the Dodgers, their lineup is really good, and they can get to him. At least Corey Seager can, the way he's been hitting the ball. In the outfield, I'm going to go with Tommy Pham. Pham's only $4,300. Lots of interest in him here against Anderson. He's been really good for the Rays this season with 8 bombs, 286 average. He hasn't been hitting the ball really well since he's come back from an injury. He's missed like a couple games. Came back on the 6th, and he's only gone 1 for like 13 or 14, 1 for 14. But I feel like it's a good spot for him to get back on track. He has good numbers against right-handed pitching this season, and he hits the ball really well at home, hitting right in the top of the lineup, has a little bit of speed as well, so it gives you a ton of upside here. This season against righties, he's batting .297, has 7 of his 8 home runs have come against righties. He's batting an insane .324 at home. Really, really good numbers for Tommy Pham, who has just been really consistent this year. He only has a 16% K rate to righties. He's walking almost 13% of the time. A 143 WRC plus, a 200 ISO. Really, really like the spot for Tommy Pham here. And he has speed as well with 6 stolen bags on the season. And last but not least, I have Bryce Harper here. He's very cheap. Look at all the guys I have to scroll through to get to him. He should always be one of the highest priced outfielders, but he's at $4,400. He hasn't been like anything special for the Phillies this season, but he has been a little better as of late. At $4,400 against Taylor Clark, I have interest in him. The Phillies have a 5+ total. Clark has been a lot worse to lefties, and Harper, as we all know, has a lot of power to righties for his career. This season, Clark has been giving up a 500 slugging to lefties, 271 average given up. He only has a 12% K rate to lefties, which is a very big deal for a guy like Bryce Harper, who strikes out a ton. So only the fact that he's only striking out 12% of hitters, 12% of lefties, and his xFIP is at 6.89. I'm going to zoom in just because that is embarrassingly bad. I love Bryce Harper here. He's really, really cheap at $4,400. So that does it for the video. Those are the 6 players I like. Once again, I'm going to touch on every other game on this slate, give you guys my 2 cents on it. So here we have the Yankees taking on Vargas. Vargas threw a complete game shutout last time out, if I'm not mistaken. I have interest in the Yankee bats here to kind of put Vargas back in his place. I like Sanchez, Voit, Morales, if he's going to be in the lineup at $2,200. I love Gleyber Torres whenever he's facing a lefty. LeMahieu's great numbers against lefties. And in the outfield, the only guy I have interest in is Hicks and Frazier. No interest in any Mets against Tanaka. The Phillies, like I mentioned, I have interest in the lefties And I have interest in Hernandez at 3,600. Hoskins, even though it's not a lefty, but a righty-righty matchup for him. Ton of power against righties, reverse splits guy. Segura's pretty cheap for a shortstop position. And Bruce is expensive, but he's been really hot, so I don't mind him. Only guys I would play on the Diamondbacks are David Peralta at 4,600 and Escobar. The Red Sox taking on Mike Minor. I feel like the Red Sox might be popular, but Minor's been really good this season. I don't feel great about targeting them, especially if JD Martinez is out. That makes a stack a lot less appealing, but I guess you could go with Betts and Martinez if he's in the lineup. They're both pretty cheap, though, considering the prices last year. Those are the only two guys I have interest in. On the Red Sox, obviously not going to be playing a single Ranger, just going to be crossing them off the slate. On the Rays, like I said, I have a lot of interest in them. Choi, Diaz, Lau, Adames, Pham, and Garcia are my favorite plays. Not going to be playing any A's against Charlie Morton. Not going to be playing any Marlins. On the Cardinals, don't have that much interest in anybody in this ballpark. You know, Paul Goldschmidt's cheap. I guess he's fine at first base. So is Matt Carpenter. They're both pretty cheap. We'll see who... They're pretty cheap, and they're taking on Alcantara, who is decent. I guess you could go with a couple of them if you want, like Carpenter and Goldschmidt stick out, but I'm not going to be playing them in cash at least. Here, the Braves taking on Joe Musgrove, I believe. Yeah, Joe Musgrove. Musgrove shut him down last start. The Braves have a high total today, but I actually have a little more interest in Musgrove than targeting some of the Braves hitters. Like, I guess you could play Musgrove. If you need a cheap SP2, he's very cheap. And if you want to play anybody on the Braves, I would play Freeman, Riley. Just play like the guys with power. Freeman, Riley, and Acuna leading off. On the Pirates are taking on Gausman, who hasn't been very good as of late. If there's anybody that's cheap that sticks out, I would have interest in them. Nobody's really sticking out except for, is Corey Dickerson back? If Dickerson is back, that's gonna be a very nice play. I like Corey Dickerson at 3,900. He was hurt for pretty much the whole year. At a cheap price tag, I'll definitely have some interest in him if he's batting like in the top of the lineup. Here we have the Nationals taking on the White Sox. The Nationals are taking on Despaigne. Lots of interest in the Nationals here, even though they're expensive. Like Adams, I like him. I like Adams. I like Soto. They're expensive, so it's kind of tough to get to them. But Adams, Soto, Eaton, if you can make the prices work, and Rendon. On the White Sox, I only have interest in the cheap guys. Like Eloy Jimenez is starting to get hot. Maybe he's finally hot. He's only 3,300, I think. 3,300 is a good price tag on him. Tim Anderson's 43. His price tag went down a lot. So is Makata. So I guess you could go with the White Sox as like a GPP stack because they are pretty cheap. I guess Coors is going to be popular today, but I don't have a ton of interest. Both pitchers are decent. Like Diaz, I'd much rather stack the Rockies against lefties with Arenado and Story's numbers. Not going to have a ton of interest in either. I'm not going to have that much interest in the Cubs against Marquez, who I really respect, except for a $3,000 Cargo if he's going to be in the lineup in that revenge scenario. And on the Rockies, they're kind of priced up, so I'm not going to be playing that many of them, except maybe Daniel Murphy. And last but not least, the Dodgers and the Angels. I have interest in some of the Dodgers lefties, like Muncy, 4,100. I have interest in him. Well, lefties and righties from the Dodgers, but the best hitters are lefties. So I have like Muncy, Bellinger. Seager's really cheap at 4,200. And Verdugo at 3,300. And not going to have that much interest in the Angels against Ryu at all. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the picks and the breakdown. If you did, make sure you drop a like before you head out. And you can check out the website, links in the description. Thanks for watching.